Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Evolve Voices podcast, a platform to hear about the fascinating stories behind the people that power global commerce. I'm your host, Mayssa Nasr, and I'm a marketing and growth consultant, and I'm the Middle East host for the Evolve Voices. Today, I have the privilege to host Roland Bitar, who is the CEO and co-founder of Localhost, which is a hospitality brand that is redefining today the short-term rental experiences across the Middle East and even now in Europe. Roland has a background in entrepreneurship and business strategy, and he has built a company that merges tech-driven efficiency with high-end hospitality, creating exceptional stays for travelers and business professionals alike. His vision focuses on scaling a premium rental experience, ensuring seamless operations, personalized guest services, and strong partnerships with property owners. Roland, welcome, and thank you for accepting our invitation today.
Thank you, Maisa, for hosting me. It's a pleasure to be here with you and the Evolve Commerce Club. So, beside you being a friend, you're someone full of energy, very ambitious, and talented also, beside being a mother. So, I wish you all the best in your initiative and looking forward to our discussion.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Roland. Thank you. It means a lot. Roland, you co-founded Localhost in 2018, right, in Lebanon?
Yes, yes.
So can you tell us more what inspired you to start this business and what gap did you see in the market?
Yes. So it all started with a group of friends. We were a group of friends and we rented a furnished apartment in Beirut. It was paid for social gatherings at the
Okay.
beginning, and we paid 1 year in advance at that time in
Yes.
2018. But then a few months later, life got busy and we no longer needed the space. So the landlord refused to refund us. He couldn't refund us. We only had one option to list it on Airbnb to recover partially the rent, part of the rent.
Yes.
And to our surprise, it made more money than we were paying at the end of the month.
Okay.
So and then we realized that the key was the small uplift in the design and the care we give to the customers. So seeing the potential, we took the whole floor and then we took the whole building, and this is how Localhost was born. So this is the story behind Localhost.
Nice. Nice. Very nice story, actually. Okay.
Yes.
So,
So it started with friends, and it didn't start out of previous planning. But
yes.
then we realized that we had a gap in the market. So there was the short-term rentals were booming, travel
Mhm.
trends were changing at that time.
Yes.
And there was also so much real estate sitting unused,
Yes.
unleveraged.
Yes.
On top of that, local communities had many experiences to offer. So we
Mhm.
had a very nice local experience, which we call community gold. So it's the local jams, the experience that you get, which is not commercial, which is really a local, authentic experience. And no one was really connecting those three elements: the travelers, the landlords, and the local community. So we decided to connect this ecosystem and bring them together in Localhost.
Wow,
This
it's
is
wonderful. It's
yeah,
very inspiring because so you came up with the idea based on actually, so there was a need first for you to recover the money that you invested, right? And then
exactly.
how the idea of a business can come up from really nothing.
My learning is that you never know when or where the opportunity will come. You just have to believe and to grab the opportunity. Because at that time we didn't know we will reach here yet. So this wasn't really planned. We started our planning later.
Yeah, very nice. Roland, you have an engineering background, right?
Yes, yes,
And it's not your first time co-founding a company. You co-founded before Francophonie, which is in the event planning.
sure.
Plus, you worked in engineering too. So, how do you think all these past experiences have actually shaped your approach today to hospitality and to home rentals?
As I told you, Localhost was built from scratch. I have no hospitality background. I have an engineering background. So
Yes.
the engineering taught me a lot. So especially how to structure my thinking, how to plan effectively, break the big challenges into smaller ones, small
Yes.
solvable pieces in order to reach a bigger goal and solve the most challenging problems. So this is what engineering taught me, and I'm grateful for the engineering journey that I took. Francophonie, and it's the beginning, if you want.
Yes.
Francophonie, it's an event planning startup from which I learned a lot, a lot, a lot. I learned how to manage the risk
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know before how to manage the risk. We had many mistakes, we had many successes, we had many failures. I learned how to fail also. I learned how to succeed. I learned when and how to grow. So it was a learning, a very, very nice learning curve. Also, in the event industry, I learned how to work under serious pressure, how to solve
Mm-hmm.
problems
Yes.
on the spot. You have to be a real problem solver and a fast problem solver. Meet deadlines because in the event industry, sometimes you have 2 days to host 50,000 people. So you have to meet very tight deadlines. It
Yes.
was a success at that time, and I still believe it has a huge potential. So I still have it in my mind. Plus, it gave us exposure to the region, to KSA, because we started working in KSA lately. And finally, I learned how to build strong teams from the ground up.
Okay.
So this is very important. For the hospitality, I had no experience in it.
Yes.
But I grew up in a family and a very hospitable environment. So my origin is from the Bekaa region in Lebanon, and
Yes.
hospitality is a second nature. So it's in their DNA. And I was inspired from the people behave there, especially my grandparents, how they welcome the guest, how they have a genuine care for the guest. So this mindset became a core part of local host and a big part of the success.
So, okay, so you told us how you actually launched local host and how the idea came, but can you tell us more about the challenges that you faced once you launched, especially in a country like Lebanon, right? So, tell us more about it.
Yes. So one of the biggest challenges, uh, it was the country situation, of course. It was the worldwide problems like COVID, like the war in Gaza lately. But my biggest challenge is to shift people's mindset. Because when people come to local host, even the partners, and from top to bottom,
Yes.
they have a different mindset. We are not in Silicon Valley here. So they come from either from family businesses or from small businesses or from multinationals. So all those businesses are completely different than startup, and you have to wear a complete different hat. So many of them also grew up believing they are helpless in Lebanon. So most of the people who joined local host,
Mm-hmm.
they grew up in Lebanon. And here in Lebanon, you are surrounded by a culture that blames circumstances and see any big dreams as unattainable. So they don't teach you to have self-confidence. They don't teach you to dream. And
Yes.
in my opinion, the result is not what matters. The success is not by the end result, it's by the journey, it's by the dream. So I don't care where I will reach, but what I enjoy is the dream and the mindset I have and the learnings I have along the way. So it's about the journey, not the end goal. So we had to break the narrative. We had to explain the difference between a startup, a family business, and a multinational, because everybody is coming from family business or from a multinational. So there is a huge difference. So joining local host, it's 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 not similar to working for a big corporation or a traditional business where you have to follow a certain system or compete with your peer in order to replace him in a higher position. No, at local host, employees are not just employees, they are future founders. So we teach them to become future founders because at a certain point we will grow exponentially
Mm.
and we will need them to be part of the company as shareholders or part of the other small companies we will build around local host. So we
Okay.
teach them how to become founders, how to break this wall of fear. So they have a wall of fear. I call it a wall of fear and
Yes.
anxiety and lack of self-confidence. So we teach them how to do it. And this is the biggest challenge we faced. Beyond that, we have challenges, external challenges like the Beirut explosion, COVID, the economic crisis in Lebanon, and lately the war in Gaza, which impacted also Cyprus and Athens, the region, not only Lebanon.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So your biggest challenge was actually in the hiring process, right? And letting people
No,
understand. Okay.
yes, in shifting the mindset from a traditional business or a traditional employment to a startup business, because there are a lot of differences, and we can talk about them later if you want,
Yes.
about what is the difference between a startup and a traditional or a more
Go
classical
ahead.
job.
Go ahead.
This is actually, this is also a big gap. You asked me first about the gap in the
Yes.
market. This is a gap on the HR side and
Mm,
in the human capital. I call it the human capital side.
yes.
So I'll give you some examples. In big companies, the competition is different. Sometimes you will have to compete with people in order to get a certain position. In a startup, we have more position than people because we are growing day by day. We grow day and night. So people are obliged to cooperate, not for the values or for the ethics, but but for the growth of the company. And then when they grow, they will both have very high position or they will
Mm.
become partners.
By cooperating, you mean working many stuff, wearing many hats at the same time, right?
Wearing many hats and also helping each others
Mm.
and not focusing on the title or the position. Because when they come from bigger companies where the title and positions are really important, they think that it is the same in a startup. In a startup, this is not important because titles are just titles. If you don't grow the company, the startup will not grow, and you will not grow. You will still have a title with nothing tangible, without growth. And if you grow, you can, even if you don't have a title, you can become a founder. You can
Yes.
either learn and open another startup or become one of the partners or become a founder with the mother company. So it's a different mentality. You need to own, you need to believe, you need to maneuver uncertainties, and you need to create from scratch because you don't have systems, you don't have rules, you have different cultures mixing.
Yes.
So it's completely different than big corporations.
Okay. Okay.
This will make you successful. And sometimes you have just to believe in startups without relying a lot on the logical side, because you just have to believe that it will be solved and we will grow, and then you will realize that it will happen in a way or
Yes.
another.
It's true. You need actually to believe in the product and in the industry itself to be able to sustain working in a startup, actually, because it's longer hours, maybe sometimes from usual corporations, and it's a lot of work. So you really need to believe in it to stay in such an environment.
Exactly. And to believe in it, you have to believe in yourself first.
It's
So
true.
this is the biggest issue, because we live in a region or in a country where self-confidence is lacking. So
Mm.
you have to believe that you can do it. You have to be able to dream. You have to let yourself dream and be ready for any downtime. So this is
Yes.
it. And I think once you break this wall, success will come at a certain point, more or
Mm.
less. It will come.
Beautiful, beautiful, very insightful. So, Roland, a local host has grown, right, from this local Lebanese startup to an international business today. So, you are present in Saudi Arabia, so KSA, Cyprus, and Greece too, right? These three
Yes,
countries.
exactly.
Um, so, what was the key actually to successfully expand beyond Lebanon?
Yes. The key, uh, it was actually one trigger that
Okay.
enabled the expansion beyond Lebanon. In 2020,
Mm-hmm.
we were a small company. We were not market leader in Lebanon.
Okay.
We had around 40 to 50 apartments, and then the explosion came. When
Yes.
the explosion came, we decided to grow outside Beirut and to grow outside Lebanon in order to diversify and in order to reduce the risk of the city and the risk of the country. So we started expanding to other regions in Lebanon,
Mhm.
to Batroum in 2021, and then to Fareya, then to Cyprus in 2022. 2023, we went to Greece, Athens, and now 2024, we opened in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh.
Yes.
So the main factor was understanding the local cultures. So you
Mm.
have to understand the local culture of the people in addition to the legal culture. So we have a local social culture and we have a legal setup, which you have to understand in order to be able to step in. And then we started with a small inventory in order to test the market, to understand people, to understand how they think, how they behave. Because also we are a hospitality company. So we are opening our home and we are welcoming people. We are part of this society. So when the guest will come, he will live as a local. He will have his neighbors. He will have to deal with the local community. He will have to deal with the taxi driver. He will have to understand. So we have to understand them because we also have to employ them. We also have to partner with them. So and this is what makes local host rich because it's a discovery of culture. You are obliged to be creative because you discover a new culture every day and you discover new horizons every day with every region, with every new region, with every new country we step into. So this is the secret to growth. And also we have a very big support and a very strong relationship between the hub in Beirut,
Mhm.
which we call Center of Excellence, and the teams on ground. So we have a lot of functions which are already executed in Beirut, like the marketing, guest call center, finance, legal. So all the back office support is in Beirut, and this relationship between Beirut, the hub, the physical hub in Beirut, and the teams on ground is driving growth.
Okay, okay. And how do you actually attract like new tenants, new clients? So in terms of marketing, what do you mainly rely on to generate leads today and sales?
Yes, so in our marketing strategy, we are a two-sided business. So actually two or three-sided. I'll explain why. We have the landlords, the real estate people from one side. We have the investors, and we have the guests.
Yes.
And at the center, we have the community. So we have either the landlords or investors from one side or the guest. So our main marketing strategy for the landlords is basically the word of mouth. We
Okay.
don't have a real marketing strategy
Uh-huh.
for the landlords because we focus on business development. So the real estate side is called business development at localhost, and we have people prospecting the ground
Uh-huh.
and talking with landlords, developers, or investors.
Okay.
So this is from the real estate side. From the guest side, we rely on basically three sources. We have the online travel agencies like Airbnb, Booking.com, Expedia, and all the OTAs. We call them OTAs. We have our sales team backed by the marketing, communication on online communication, social media, loyalty programs. So we have people selling to corporations, to event companies, to NGOs, to production houses. So direct sales on ground,
Uh-huh.
and we have our database of
Okay.
customers with our loyalty programs and our actions and our own website.
Okay. And it's the same for all countries, right? Of course, the target is not
Yes.
the same, so you personalize it, but it's the same strategy that you do
It's
for.
the same strategy, but we personalize it and we tailor it for each local country, and we have on ground different sales team.
Okay.
So in Cyprus, we have Cypriot salespeople. In Lebanon, we have
Mhm.
Lebanese. In KSA, we have local salespeople. So the
Okay.
salespeople are different, are not the same for
Okay.
all the countries, but their management is in Beirut.
All right. Okay. Understood.
So this is our strategy.
Okay. And you know, today you work in an industry that is highly competitive, the hospitality industry. So, what differentiates local hosts today from all the other rental platforms like Airbnb, for example, right? Because whenever someone wants to think about going to a new country, the first thing they do usually is to go on Airbnb, right? So, what
Exactly.
differentiates you? Why will I go to local host rentals and not to Airbnb?
Yes, actually, Airbnb is not our real competitor. It's a platform. It's at the same time a competitor, but also a platform where we advertise our houses, our
Sure.
apartments.
Yes.
So, so what differentiates us from not Airbnb, from other competitors on Airbnb,
Mhm.
is
Okay.
that we sell a whole experience. We do not sell just a bed and breakfast. So it's not an apartment. You're not renting an apartment. You're renting a whole experience, and you're also renting safety. So our
Yes.
main differentiator is how much we genuinely care for our customer. So we have technology, we have everything. We have the apartments, we have the comfort, but what's lacking is the care. In this short-term rental market, it's highly competitive, but the care and services are lacking. So if you go to another Airbnb, you will not have the same services. You will not have the same support. You will only have a bed and breakfast. They might be clean, they might be comfortable, comfy, but you will not be able to experience the whole the whole experience of being a local and
Mm.
being supported by a team of people who are caring for your well-being on a
Okay.
24/24
So you're actually
basis.
selling an experience.
For me, we're selling safety and the local experience. So we're selling care and safety because a guest should feel safe. In
Mm.
all relationships, you should feel safe.
True.
So a relationship with the client is not only based on monetization. It's not only based on the money or the fees he's paying, which is essential to grow. But the relationship is similar to a human relationship with the brand, with the people. So we have a relationship with the clients, which is monetized in a way in order to grow the business and sustain the business. But it's not. But money is not the driver for this relationship. Okay, it's a way to sustain this relationship. It's a way to pay employees. It's a way to grow the business. It's a way to reward the investors. It's a way to reward the community. It's a way to sustain this economical cycle. But
Yes.
it's a tool rather than the essence of the relationship with the client.
The client. Can you give us an
Yes.
example about this relationship? An example about this experience? Any example that you can give?
Yes, we have a lot of tangible examples.
Mm.
So, but in a nutshell, it's more a mindset than uh, than tangible examples. But this reflects on the tangible action
Yes.
we do or the tangible system. So we have a 24/24 support system. So you can at any time call us in case you have any problem.
Mhm.
We have somebody on ground who can serve you at any time. We call him a hopper.
Mhm.
So this guy is like the receptionist in a hotel.
Okay.
So we have designed the hotel system to suit the Airbnb, and this is our differentiator. So as an example, if you need sometimes medication, if you have a problem with the taxi,
Mhm.
we can solve your personal problem as well, not
Okay.
only the problem with the apartment or any complaint you might have in the apartment or related to the local host direct service. So we also help you in solving your personal problems, health issues. So
Okay.
it's not limited to the services we provide.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
And this is and this the challenge is to do it in a genuine way, not
Uh,
in a systematic way. Because when you go to the hotel, you might hear the best speech from the receptionist, but sometimes they don't do it in a genuine way. They don't really care for you as a client, and they don't find pleasure in your satisfaction. So we
yeah.
should reach a point in local host where we really genuinely care, and we go back to the Beka people, which I
Yes.
told you about at the beginning. They really enjoy seeing you smiling or seeing you satisfied.
Okay.
And this is the essence of local host.
That's a very nice essence. All right.
Because Mesa now we all live in a sophisticated world. Everything is automated. Technology is dominating everywhere.
Yes.
What we lack, especially in hospitality, is the human connection and this genuine care. So soon people will start looking at it in parallel to technology.
Yes. So you're talking about technologies. What role does technology play in your business? You have some digital
Technology,
tools, and what
yes.
about AI also today? So what role does it really play at localhost?
Technology is super important. You cannot sustain without technology. Localhost is actually a tech-enabled company, and technology facilitates our life. It facilitates the life of the employees. It facilitates the life of the guest. It
Mm,
facilitates the life of the investor and the landlord. But it can also play a negative effect if it's not coupled with the human touch and care we provide to the customer. So it helps streamline the processes and make the operations easier. But also, it should be coupled with this small human touch and connection, which will make the experience better for the
mm,
customer. Otherwise, we will all be robots, and
yes,
AI will not serve will not serve us
it's true.
in the hospitality field. So we're
Yes.
coupling AI and technology with our human touch in order to come up with this successful combination.
Okay. Okay. Roland, I know that you have recently secured some big investors, right?
Yes.
So what will now be your main focus areas for scaling your business?
Yes, lately we started our first round of funding because we reached a point where we need to we need to scale and we
Yes.
need to raise funds.
Mm,
Before that, we were always bootstrapping or growing from our own money.
okay.
Uh, so a lot has changed when the investors came in, and
Mhm.
especially some big investors. The ambition grew. Our
Yes.
ambition became bigger, and we
Mhm.
want now to reach the unicorn level in 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Also, we had to standardize the whole process in terms of finance, legal, reporting. So we now have a standardized process of reporting to the investors and also a standard process of recruiting investors.
Mm,
So the investment milestone is a very important phase in the startup life, and now we already started it. We also started the official board and the governance system of localhost. So we are changing. We are doing the transition from a small medium startup to a bigger startup in order to take this leap.
okay. Okay. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. Uh,
Thank you, Matt.
Roland, I'm curious to know what were the biggest differences in operating, in Lebanon versus the other countries, Saudi Arabia or even Greece or Cyprus. So what were the main differences, especially in the operation?
The operation is completely different in those countries, and
Okay.
especially the difference between Lebanon and Europe, and then between
Mm,
Lebanon and Europe and Saudi Arabia. So in Lebanon, the main challenge is the infrastructure. The operations suffer from the infrastructure, the weak infrastructure, the non-consistent infrastructure, which is the electricity, the internet,
mm, yeah.
even water supply is not consistent in Lebanon. While in Cyprus or Greece, the main challenge is more the marketing and the competition side.
Oh,
So in Lebanon, we became the market leader by far, while
yes.
in Cyprus and Greece, there was more complications on the marketing and also on the taxation issue. For
Okay.
Saudi Arabia, the legal setup is more challenging. It's not straightforward like Lebanon and Europe. So it's a very dynamic environment and it's in high growth. They are
Yes.
growing very fast and they are changing very fast in Saudi Arabia. And this is a big opportunity for us. But the challenge is the legal side and how much we can cater for the business traveler. So we have a complete different
Targets.
set of target and set of operation and services also because tourists have different needs than business travelers.
It's true. And so
Yes.
how do you do to adapt your offerings to these markets? Because you need to maintain a consistent brand identity, right?
Yes. Yes, we have a common brand identity which we apply to all the countries.
Yes.
And then we have the local taste. I call it the local taste in the identity and also in the operations. So in the
Mm.
operations, we have the local needs of the operation, and
Mhm.
in the identity, we have the local taste, which is target, which in which we target the specific segment of this country.
So you adapted by this local taste. Okay. I love the vocabulary, by the way, that you are using, that you use at the local host. Very interesting.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So, because we got used to a new way of thinking in local host, when you discover a lot of culture, and when you have this genuine desire to discover and to please people, you start creating new lifestyle, a new way of talking, a new way of operating. So this is what we're doing every day in localhost, and I invite all the entrepreneurs and even all the employees to start thinking this way, to start thinking different, because there's a lot to do when you cross this wall of fear.
Very nice. Roland, do you see any trends that are shaping the short-term rental industry today in the Middle
Yes.
East or in and beyond the Middle East? Are there any trends, any future trends that you are foreseeing?
Yes, the short-term rental in general, Mesa, it's a new business. So it started actually with Airbnb maybe 10 to 15 years ago.
Mhm.
And there is no big player in it like the hotel industry. So in the short-term rental, it's a new business and it's shaping itself.
Yeah.
So we have now trends of remote working. We
Yes.
have more and more recurrent clients.
Okay.
Even the tourists are becoming recurrent clients.
Mm.
So local tourism is expanding, not only in Lebanon or in the region, but also worldwide, especially after COVID. So we
Yes.
have more and more a trend of local tourism. We have, of course, the remote working. And we have the need to connect to the local community, the need to connect to a genuine community, the need to discover. So this need is increasing because of the technology and because of all the social media and all the technology that we are living in. We need human connections, and we need more and more to discover new culture and new communities. So this is what will shape the short-term rental industry in the Middle East. And
Okay.
of course, it will differ between a country and another. So as I
Yes.
told you, in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, it's more about business traveling,
Mm.
but business traveling is being mixed with tourism. So it's called leisure. We call it leisure. So you
Yes.
mix the tourism and the business traveling because nowadays business and work is an integral part of our life with all the technology. So you don't have anymore what we call work-life balance, but you need to love what you do in order to have a work-life balance. If you don't love what you do, even if you work 2 hours per day, it will not be a good work-life balance because you
Mm.
are always connected. So this evolution has shaped also the short-term rental industry, and it's pushing us to create an experience rather than a beautiful house or a beautiful room to stay in,
Yes.
and
Yes.
a connection. So it's a whole local experience, and it's a need for connection. People need human connection. People need to connect to each other. So
Okay.
it's not about having only a good product. So they need to connect to this product, and money is not an issue. Okay, we have crisis, we have a worldwide crisis, and the prices are competitive, but it's not the main driver of the travelers now, in my opinion. The main traveler is experiences and genuine connection with the brand and with the local community via the brand.
Okay. And Roland, how do you counter all these new regulations in some countries where Airbnb are not allowed anymore, or you have this, hotel lobbying who is
Yes.
who they don't want Airbnbs anymore to come and compete with them. So how do you counter that? Maybe tomorrow in Saudi Arabia or in Greece or in Cyprus, you will have this, right? So how will you do it?
Actually, we started acquiring buildings lately, so they
Okay.
are hotel-like
Okay.
concept. We call them a local host concept. So we have
Mhm.
buildings with all the legal regulatory requirements and the basic amenities of hotels, which are the reception, lobby. We have also breakfast, we have room service, we have a pool, we have a gym. So we are creating now a new operating model, which
Uh-huh.
is called the branded buildings by local host or branded condominiums. So
Okay.
they are similar to hotels, but they
Mhm.
have the spirit of local host and the spirit of Airbnb, if you want. So
Okay.
it's a hybrid solution between Airbnb and local host where you can live. You don't have a small box like a hotel. You have
Mhm.
a house, you have a studio, you have a one-bedroom apartment where you can live, you can cook, you can enjoy having longer term stays. And
Yes.
also, you have the basic amenities which you have in a hotel. So this way, we
Okay.
are also attracting the clientele of hotels.
Okay. So, one last question about the hospitality industry before we talk more about you as a founder. What's, in your opinion, the most important factor today in building a successful hospitality brand? So, for anyone who's thinking about creating a new hospitality brand, what would be your advice?
This person should ask a very basic question first. Do I care genuinely for the customer? If the answer is no, no need to go further. If the answer is yes, then you can go to the next step. The next step would be to build a structure in the hospitality, to build a structure, to build a product
Uh-huh.
which can cater for a certain niche of customers.
Okay.
So, in my opinion, competition will be higher and higher. My advice is to build products which can cater to a specific niche of people, and this is what we are doing in local host. So, we can build a product for business travelers, a product for families, a product for remote workers, a product for solo travelers. So, building specific niche products regardless if it is luxury or it's not a luxury product,
Yes.
is the future. And they have to marry technology, AI and technology with a personal
Have the
connection,
human,
with the human touch. So
yes.
this is my advice.
Okay. Nice.
But it will all start if they care for the customer. If they don't
Yes.
do it, they can choose another business, maybe engineering or any other, or
Okay.
consultancy.
Yeah. All right. So Roland, let's talk more about you and your leadership style. So you as a founder, what leadership lessons have you learned, from growing local hosts since 2018 up until today?
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot in this journey. I told you, I learned that what matters is the journey, not
Yeah.
the end result.
Mm.
So when you start thinking this way, you will have results. It might have a contradiction in it, but when you start enjoying the journey and not caring about the results, which doesn't mean you will stop being ambitious or not doing efforts. It's the opposite.
Mm.
But once you start enjoying the journey, then the results will come or not. But you will have a much higher probability of getting results.
How do you make sure your employees are enjoying the journey?
Exactly. This is the leadership we need to have in our society. I had this feeling before, but now I can talk about it because
Mm.
I couldn't formulate it before local host.
Yes.
I learned with the years that a leadership is not a position. It's never a title or a position in life, in work, in politics, in the social life, in all the fields, and especially at work. So as startup,
Yes.
leadership, or even in the big corporations, leadership is not made by a position. So it's a mindset. So you can be a leader in your mindset. So it's
Mm.
a character you acquire once you break this wall of fear. I call it wall of fear.
Yes, back to the wall
And
of
this will open endless doors for you. So for me, leadership is breaking the wall of fear, not caring about your title or your
yes.
position or your social status.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important is to have this genuine empathy and care and this pleasure seeing people grow. You need to feel the pleasure. It's a real pleasure. So what keeps me going on is when I open the door of the office and I see people growing and I see where the same people were 1 year ago or 2 years ago and where they are now. This is
Yes.
very rewarding and this is a real pleasure for me as a leader. And as a leader, I believe that you have to create leaders. You don't have to be afraid to create leaders. I don't like to lead weak people, and I'm frustrated when people behave in a weak manner. I hate pity, and I don't like weakness.
Okay.
I don't like the word empowering because empowering means you're weak.
Mm.
So I like power. I
Okay.
like people to be leaders and to be also founders. So I don't care if somebody is learning the business or learning how to be a leader and will open another startup because there's always a room for cooperation. But the moment you start creating leaders and creating founders and breaking this wall of fear, this is the true pleasure of being a leader.
Well, I hope all leaders think like you today.
No,
Uh,
it's a style. Yani.
yeah,
In my opinion, it's not. There's no one style fits all. But
that's true.
yes,
But
some
empathy and being genuine and wanting actually for people to grow into leaders and other founders is not easy to accept and to want to do this. So I
it
mean,
might look risky. It might look risky because you're creating competitors for you.
yes,
Yani here you're creating leaders, and those leaders will compete with you. They can be
yes,
founders, they can be, and this is a big dilemma in the startup world. How can I grow my startup if I am employing employees and I am a founder?
yes, yes, yes. It's
And
true.
some founders say, I don't want to be an employee anymore. But if you are a founder, you will employ hundreds or thousands of employees. So how can you say, I don't want to be an employee? So
Yeah,
here again, entrepreneurship, leadership is not about being a founder or a partner or an employee. Again, you can be an employee and be better than the biggest founder. So in my opinion, it's not leadership and entrepreneurship is not about the position or having shares or founding a company or so it's a mindset. And then having a company, having a position, they will
yeah.
come.
You need to dream, as you said.
When you have the right mindset, it will come one day or another. It will come. A local host wasn't calculated. It's a
Yes.
mindset that brought it.
Yes, yes. Right now, what's next for local host? Where do you see the company growing? So you said that you wanted to be, a unicorn in the four,
Yes.
5 years. But after that, where do you see this company going in like 10, 15 years?
Yes, the goal, the tangible goal now is to become a unicorn in 5 years, in four to
Okay.
five years,
Okay.
and then to set a trend, a new trend, empowering people to do the same. So
Okay.
local host will have many subsidiaries,
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have a lot of services like car rentals, we have housekeeping, we have automations, we have tourism services. So we will create a lot of subsidiaries around local host,
Okay.
maybe tens of companies.
Yeah.
And also we will be a model bridging this gap between investors who are especially in the Gulf region and talents in the what we call third world countries like Lebanon.
Okay.
So we wanted to become a hub or a model for this.
Okay. Very nice.
Yes,
Roland, if you could go back to 2018,
yes.
what advice would you give yourself as Roland before launching local host?
Oof. This is not an easy question. On the business level,
Yes.
maybe I would start in parallel or outside Lebanon. So
Okay.
I wouldn't wait 2 or 3 years for an event to
Happen.
come in order
Okay.
to start outside Lebanon. Maybe it's good to start in parallel, even
Okay.
with a small operation outside.
Okay.
And I would have done some things differently to be ready for investment from the beginning,
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
for
because
scaling from the
yeah, this
beginning.
was my next question. Do you think that you were late to get investors on board?
It's not late to get investors, but maybe we grew up very fast,
Okay.
and we had to do efforts in order to make it investor friendly.
Okay.
لأنه when you have a bigger operation, it's
Yes.
harder to make it investor friendly, but we succeeded in it and the
Okay.
investors went in. But if I would do it again, I would do it on the right track from the beginning. But you learn. It's our
Yes, of
first
course. It's a learning phase. Yeah,
big
yeah.
startup, and it's a learning curve. And this is part of the learning we want to transfer. So we want to transfer the knowledge to the team of localhost, and this team will create subsidiaries of localhost or other startups.
Okay. Well, now you're still looking for investors now, or you closed the first round?
Yes, we closed the first round, but now we have SPV investors. We call them SPV investors. We take a project, one or two or three buildings. We
Okay.
create a company and we bring investors in this project, not in the mother company.
Oh, okay, not in the
So
mother company.
we will start recruiting this kind of investor.
Okay. Now, one last question that I always like to end my podcast with.
Yes.
If you have one book to recommend to our listeners, which book would it be and why?
It might look weird. It might look weird. I read business books, but I'm more into history and philosophy because I learn a lot. But if they want to read one book, I would recommend Les Miserables by Victor Hugo or
Okay.
any book for Victor Hugo, but in particular Les Miserables in any language, but preferably in French if they are
Why? Why
French.
Les Misérables?
Because we live in a fake world. We are all connected and we don't know the true potential of people. And then the potential often lies behind what we see. Most of the people, they don't succeed not because they cannot do it and not because they are bad people. In my opinion, there's no bad people in general.
Mm,
There are people who weren't given the chance, or there are people really treated badly by the society. And I'm known for being very strict, but it's not about being strict or not. It's about seeing the potential in the other. Even if you will fire an employee, I
mm,
still see a potential for him elsewhere.
okay.
So you should see the potential in people.
Okay.
And this book has I've read it maybe 3 times, 3, 4 times. I've watched the movie maybe 5, 6 times, the French version, because
Yes.
I like it in French. It's amazing how you can learn from it, how one word can change a whole life and can make a big success story.
I really enjoyed our conversation. Thanks a lot for all the insights, for everything. And for all our listeners, thank you for staying with us up until the end. And as usual, keep evolving.
Thank you, Maisa.
Now make sure you subscribe to Evolve Voices, this leading and incredible project where our ambassadors are interviewing amazing professionals from all over the world so they can share their perspective and benefit you with their perspective, their knowledge, and you can understand what's happening in the different markets. Evolve Voices is a project part of the Evolve Commerce Club, the #1 and leading community where we connect international professionals in the world of commerce. We are now connecting professionals in more than 40 markets, and every week we invite an expert to share their perspective and their knowledge. So if you'd like to know more, you can always look at the comments. We have a link there so you can request your application, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching. All the best. Ciao.